All right, so you guys get to be the class today that gets to be on YouTube, which is exciting. We are going to start a new unit today. Shout out to all the people in the 713-281. Okay. Anyway, what we're going to do for our next unit, chapter 6, as you can see, is we're going to look at polynomials. All right, our last unit before we took the midterm, so in 2016, we did chapter 5, which was on quadratics. Now, quadratics, that is one subset of polynomials. So polynomials is going to include quadratics, but going to include even higher exponents. All right? So we've dealt with x squared. Now we're going to go into x cubed, x to the fourth power. We can keep going. All right? So that's what we're going to focus on for this unit. So basically, after quadratics, what comes next? Okay? So here's some vocab you guys can look at. A monomial is just one term. All right? So all these polynomials is going to be a combination of a bunch of monomials added and subtracted together. All right? That's what a polynomial is. If you don't know what polynomial means, poly means many, nomial means term. All right? So many terms. All right? It's like what? The gods. What gods? Yeah. Do you know where all these words come from? Yeah. Yes? Yes, the Greeks. All right. So that's why all this stuff is kind of linked. Okay? All right. Now, a few things that I would point out here. I would actually go ahead and star this or circle it, something so you can refer to this. You should know the difference between what is a polynomial and what is not a polynomial. Now, some of those things up there we are going to look at in this class. For example, this right here, this variable is in the exponent. We will look at that next chapter, right, chapter 7. So we will do some of that stuff, but that's not necessarily a polynomial function or equation. All right? So definitely want to do that. I'm sorry?
How many chapters are in the textbook?
12, 13, something like that. All right. Now, a couple more vocab things you need to know for this unit. You need to know what the degree of a polynomial is and the leading coefficient. All those things will be helpful for you in a couple of weeks when we start to solve these. All right, so I'm introducing them today with the hope that when we solve and I bring them back, you'll remember them. Now, all of this is for naught. All right, all of it means it's just a waste of time if you don't first put the polynomial in standard form. Do you guys know what standard form is? You should know it for quadratics. Do you remember standard form of the quadratic function? It was on your formula sheet for the midterm. Ax squared. Very good. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So in terms of polynomials, we just go a little bit further and say it's in decreasing order by exponent. So you can see we start with cubed, then squared, then to the first power, and then there's no variable. Okay, that's standard form. If it's not in standard form, always rewrite it in standard form. I thought I would, right? Okay, so again, all of this stuff is important, but if you don't use standard form, you'll get the answers wrong. Standard form comes first. Okay, we'll practice. All right, now, you are going to need to memorize these names. Okay, I know it looks kind of crazy. It's a big table, but you already know half of them. Constant, linear, and quadratic. You've already spent a bunch of time in math learning about those. All right, so the new ones are cubic, quartic, and quintic. Cubic, quartic, and quintic. I'll say it again so you can hear it. Cubic, quartic, and quintic. All right, so that's to the third power, fourth power, and fifth power. All right. The last thing, after you name it, is to tell me how many terms. Binomial, think of like a bicycle. How many wheels on a bicycle? 2, so we have 2 terms. Tricycle, 3, so trinomial is 3 terms. All right, and we'll talk about what happens when there's more than 3 terms. Great. Let's try an example. First thing you want to do with this example is you want to put it in standard form. So let's have Caesar. Put it in standard form for us. What comes first? I'm sorry, say it again. Thank you very much. What comes next? Excellent. And last? Very good. That's your first thing you need to do every single time. If it's not given to you in standard form, please write it in standard form. Then once you do that, you can find all the stuff they're asking you to find. The leading coefficient, the degree, and then ultimately we're going to name it. Okay, so we also need the number of terms. All right, so I'll let you think about it for a few minutes, seconds, and I'll call on somebody to tell us these things. So think about it. What's the leading coefficient? What's the degree? What's the number of terms? Joseph, what do you got for me? Think about what it says in that word. It says leading, leading, leading. Very good, except because it's just a coefficient, we're going to write -5 and we're done. Because coefficient just means the number in front, not the variable. Okay? All right. The degree. What's the degree of this polynomial? What's the degree of this polynomial, Gilberto? 2. The highest exponent is a 2. So that is the degree. How many terms are here? How many terms? How many terms? Carolina, how many terms? How many terms are in this polynomial? How many terms? -5x squared is a term. 4x is a term. And 3 is a term. So how many is that? It's 3. Very good. All right. So now the hard part. Yes, Tanya. Are you talking about the degree?
No, before that, sorry.
Before that.
It says degree of term, it goes 3210.
Yeah, so the degree of each term would be the highest exponent for the term. But you're good. I want the degree for the polynomial.
Sorry.
You're good. Don't apologize. All good. All right, so now the hard part is to name it. Guys, I get a lot of kids that mess this up, so really listen to the way I explain this. When you name them, you want to start with the degree. What is the degree? The degree is 2. The degree of this polynomial is 2. This is why people mess it up all the time. All right? So what am I going to write if the polynomial has a degree of 2? Quadratic. Very good. That comes first. Always the degree. To write the next word, you look at what Carolina told us, the number of terms. How many terms are there? 3. So we said monomial is 1 term. Binomial, 2 terms. Trinomial. So this is a quadratic trinomial. Yes? It's 2017. Right? 2017. Yes?
So let's say it has like 4 number of terms or whatever. How are you going to do it?
4 terms, because we don't know what comes after trinomial. So what do we say if it's more than 3? You say polynomial with 4 terms. What if it's a 5-term polynomial? There you go. All right? So there's no fun name. It's just you have to say polynomial with the number of terms. Great question. All right? Can we try another one? Great. Just kidding. You get to try them. Ready, go!